Francis Ngannou.
Ça va?
Yeah, man.
Good to see you too.
Hey, ça va?
How are you?
Good. Living? What are you doing here? Do you like live here now, or just live everywhere?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, I can see that. Yeah.
I don't need to have a house.
Yeah.
If Izzy loses to Imavov, it would be way extreme for me to say his career's over, but the career that he has enjoyed is over.
Israel Adesanya, when you're the champion of the world, when you're defending the belt so many times, and you literally think your shit don't stink and you can beat everybody, you do get a little bit embarrassed. Your pride takes a hit when you lose 3 out of the last 4, and you see the middleweight division moving along without you. That's the part that really hurts. That's the part that feels like a knife in your chest. You're like, God damn.
Oh, you're right there.
Yeah.
That was a solid one. Actually, I felt it like the energy traveled.
Yeah, we're in so good, man.
Yeah. I know that well.
I'll take it like a champ.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, bro. I've never thanked someone for much.
There's the fit. Look, it's mad, yeah? Because his hands are big as fuck, right? But he hit me like, obviously here, but the pain has like shifted the whole way across. But you can see where it's like, look, it's red over here.
Over 5 rounds, I do believe Israel Adesanya wins via a decision. I think he maintains range, keeps his distance, moves around, uses all of the space inside the octagon, and in Saudi Arabia, Israel Adesanya will be the winner.
The UFC is back in Saudi Arabia with an epic card headlined by the former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya going up against Nassourdine Imavov on the 1st of February. Israel Adesanya has not been in the best of forms as he lost 3 out of his last 4 fights, and all of them were title fights. Meanwhile, his opponent Imavov is on a 3-match winning streak. Imavov is ranked in the top 5 of the middleweight division. Israel Adesanya will be looking to redeem himself after back-to-back title fight setbacks against Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. Israel is excited to fight in Saudi Arabia because he thinks the people there are so nice and respectful. He got a lot of love from the fans out there, so he is happy to be fighting in Riyadh.
We know they like to do it big over there in Saudi, right? Like, they treat their stars amazing. You've been there with Francis. When they offered you this fight there, was that something that excited you?
Definitely, because I've been to Saudi Arabia when they started to open the gates to the world. I've been there probably 5 or 6 times, but I haven't fought there. And yeah, I was excited to get the call that I'm fighting over in Saudi Arabia.
Meanwhile, Imavov knows that Israel is a strong opponent and it won't be easy to beat him. He said that Adesanya was looking good against Dricus du Plessis, and he has the skills to beat anyone. Imavov is well aware that Israel Adesanya will come hard against him, and Nassourdine Imavov shared his thoughts about Adesanya on Media Day. I don't think he's getting older. If you look at his fight against DDP, he was doing very well. In my opinion, he was winning the fight before the submission. So I think he's gonna come very focused, very hungry. Nassourdine Imavov said that he is not thinking much about Israel Adesanya as his main focus is currently on his own training and preparation. The French MMA fighter also wants to face a fully fit Adesanya to show his skills and abilities to him. Imavov further added, "Even though I don't focus too much on him, I focus more on myself, what I'm going to do, the shape I'm going to be in the fight, and I hope he's going to be in the best shape so I can beat the best Israel Adesanya." Israel Adesanya thinks that the young fighter Nassourdine Imavov has nothing special or new in his style. The former UFC champion said that young fighters mostly bring evolution to the sport, but he has not seen any new skill in Imavov's style. Israel feels the only good quality in Imavov is his speed, but that is not something new or unique.
We talk about MMA as being one of these like rapidly evolving sports, right? And now here you are, you're the veteran, you're fighting the young guy Nassourdine. But do you see anything in his game that's like, oh, this is a potential evolution that I haven't fought before? Or do you look at him and think, no, I think I've got this covered?
I'll find out. From what I see so far, there's nothing that he brings that I haven't seen before. I think his best attribute is his speed. Yeah, his speed, his counters, but I've seen that before, and again, it's up to him to show me something I haven't seen before.
Adesanya revealed that his fight with Imavov is very important because if he loses, then it will dent his legacy very badly. He wants to give his best in that fight and gain his form back. The former champion wants to show everyone that he still has a lot of fights left in him, and he is ready to prove his abilities once again inside the cage.
This is an important fight for me, but it's for me. Like I said to Oscar before, I could lose my next 10 fights and it wouldn't, dim my history or anything. But this fight is important for me, not for anyone else. I'm doing this to prove to myself, I'm still involved in this game. I'm still getting better and I'm still very dangerous. So yeah, I'm doing this one for me.
Israel Adesanya has admitted that he is competing in this fight for himself to get back to winning ways. The Nigerian-New Zealand fighter wants to prove to himself that he still has the spark left in him to beat anyone on his day. Israel said that he fights for his family, fans, or friends, but this time he will enter in the ring just for himself.
Just because there's not a belt on the line, I don't want to diminish this fight like it's not important. This is still an important fight for me. And again, I'm saying I'm doing this for myself. I'm kind of being selfish. Like I fight for myself, I fight for my team, my family, and my real fans. But this one, I'm putting myself first. I'm trying to do this one for myself. So it's really important to me. But you might have to ask me after the fight or after the victory and I'll be able to tell you. But it's an important fight. I'm not looking past Imavov. I've not thought of anything past Imavov or set anything up. I just want to get this done and get the victory.
Moreover, Israel Adesanya said that the recent defeats haven't demotivated him and affected his camp. He said that he is making progress with each step. Adesanya thinks that they work together as a whole and are ready for difficult situations.
In terms of it hasn't affected us at all. We don't live or die by accolades, It's more about performances and getting better as a gym as a whole, and we're still progressing. So it hasn't dulled our shine in any way.
On the other hand, Nassourdine Imavov is working hard to beat Adesanya and get a title shot. He knows that fighting against a guy Adesanya will boost his confidence and create his own legacy. Imavov said that he doesn't want to create extra hype for this fight because it will create extra pressure on him. The French fighter only wants to win this fight and get closer to the title shot.
A fight is a fight and you can't give your opponent too much respect, but have you allowed yourself to think what a win over him and having his name on your record would feel like, when you eventually retired, to look back and be like, oh, I fought this guy, legend of the division, and I beat him? Have you thought what that might be like?
Of course, the main thing is gonna get me closer to my goal, which is to fight for the belt, and so I'm very excited about that.
Yes, I don't think about it at all. I spend time just training and focusing on my own fight. I'm not trying to chase hype or popularity. My goal is to fight for the belt.
A lot of fighters in the middleweight division showed their interest in fighting Israel Adesanya, but the UFC gave this opportunity to Nassourdine Imavov. Israel thinks that Imavov is a good fighter, and he deserves that because he is among the top 5 ranks of the middleweight division.
And when they mentioned the opponent, right, like I think a lot of the guys at middleweight wanted this. They called you out, multiple names. Why ultimately do you think the UFC thought Nassourdine Imavov was the best opponent for you in the spot?
I'm not sure why, but he's a game opponent. He's climbing the ranks, I think, in the top 5 right now. So, So yeah, it was. He was the first name that got slid across the desk, and I was just like, yep, let's go.
Israel also explained how it feels to be competing without any title on the line. The former champion has mostly appeared in the fights either as a champion or challenger, so it might feel a bit strange to be fighting without any title. However, Israel thinks that this fight is all about proving to himself. He wants to stay in shape and show everyone that he is still among the best fighters in the UFC.
But for you, like, what is the difference in motivation and how you push for a fight like this where a belt is not on the line and it's just kind of a different circumstance than what you've been used to for half a decade now?
For me, it's just proving to myself that I'm still that dude. I know I'm one of the best, if not the best. But I still feel like I'm improving, and I see the work that I do. I feel the work that I do. And I just want to show the world the work that I'm doing.
The coach of Israel Adesanya has also shared his thoughts about how it feels to be fighting without a title being involved. Mike Angove said that this fight is also equally important for them, as Adesanya has to win it for the sake of his legacy. He has to fight for himself, because if he doesn't win this, then the question will be raised about his future as a UFC fighter.
It doesn't feel any different. It's a 5-round fight. It's at the top of the card. If you don't win this fight, then you have to question, where you're at with your career. And the clear and stated objective is that we want to regain the title for the third time. And in order to do that, you've got to knock off a couple of these young lions. So the pressure of being a title holder, and Israel has often said this, that's not really there.
Adesanya has never lost 3 consecutive fights in his career, so it is also an extra pressure on him to win this fight at all costs. However, Israel doesn't think that there is any pressure on him, as he sees this fight like any other fight. He is not thinking about past records, and his only focus is on his opponent. He is training hard to beat him and regain his form.
Coming into the situation though, you've never lost 3 straight combat sports fights, as far as I can tell off your record in your entire combat career. Is that something you've thought about and used as a driving force at all going into this fight?
No, not at all. I'm not focused on those kind of numbers. For me, it's just another fight, a new opponent, new body to exchange with, and he's really good. So yeah, I look forward to taking care of him.
Well, the former champion has to pass the challenge of Nassourdine Imavov, as these two will clash in the UFC Saudi Arabia main event on February 1st. This will be Adesanya's first non-title fight in almost 6 years, and with his last few encounters having all come against longtime rivals, Israel has warned that the lead up to his fight against Nassourdine Imavov could be boring. Israel Adesanya said, "It's always good to mix things up, but again, this is just fighting. It'll be pretty boring the lead up to this fight for the fans who want like that kind of stuff, but the fight's gonna be very exciting. That's the sauce in this one." Adesanya recently lost back to back fights against Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. He fought well in both fights, but unfortunately ended up on the losing side on both occasions. Meanwhile, the UFC Hall of Famer Michael Bisping has shared his verdict on this fight. The former UFC champion thinks that Israel Adesanya will be motivated enough to stop streaking contender Imavov. He picks Adesanya to win this bout, as he thinks that the former champion will be very angry with him after his recent performances. Michael Bisping said on his YouTube channel, "More than likely, Israel Adesanya gets a decision. I think he uses the jab. I think he lowers his base. I think he's probably pissed off and a little bit embarrassed. Israel Adesanya, when you're the champion of the world, when you're defending the belt so many times and you literally think your doesn't stink and you can beat everybody, you do get a little bit embarrassed." Michael Bisping further thinks that with 3 defeats in his last 4 fights, Adesanya would be very desperate for the win. His pride got it with such performances, and now he has to make a strong comeback. The UFC legend still feels that Israel Adesanya will win this fight due to his skills and experience. Your pride takes a hit when you lose 3 out of the last 4, and you see the middleweight division moving along without you. Over 5 rounds, I do believe Israel Adesanya wins via decision. I think he maintains range, keeps his distance, moves around, uses all of the space inside the octagon, and in Saudi Arabia, Israel Adesanya will be the winner. Recently, the PFL Superfights heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou visited Israel Adesanya's training camp to support him. He spent some good time with Israel, had a lot of fun moments, and motivated him for his upcoming fight.
He never really actually get hungry. By the time he was born, we all together were working together to like. He went to school, bro. They never kick him out of the school. He never get hungry. So, and I don't understand why he's not like that. We go days without eating, but I'm so big. You know, like.
I never went hungry either, so.
I can tell.
Furthermore, Simon Samano wants Israel Adesanya to make a strong comeback. He said that with the poor outing in his previous fights, Israel has to make a strong comeback. Simon thinks that if he doesn't make a strong return to the cage, then people will start thinking about his retirement.
He's lost 3 of his past 4 fights. He had the 1 knockout of Alex Pereira, but the fact that he could not build off of that one and has lost his last 2 fights back to back, I think it's concerning. And I think Izzy, if I'm not mistaken, he's talked about, like, he hasn't talked about retirement, I don't think openly, but the way he sort of, the words, you can sort of read between the lines, how he's starting to maybe just get comfortable with his legacy and where he's at. And if that's the case, then great. But if he wants another title shot and he wants to try and reclaim that title, I think he's got to show us something in this fight.
The former UFC star Chael Sonnen believes that this fight might prove to be a career-ending fight. He said that if Israel loses against Imavov, then his career will most probably be over.
It would be way extreme for me to say his career's over, but the career that he has enjoyed is over. He's already out of title. He's already off of pay-per-view. I mean, right? It's just the way that it goes.
However, Chael Sonnen also added the other aspects of this fight. According to the former champion, if Izzy wins this fight, then he will most probably get a title shot. He thinks that Israel will have the best chance to fight for the title, as he can surprise everyone by challenging someone very skilled and talented. Sonnen said that Israel is a very genius fighter, and he will make the right decision.
Meanwhile, if Izzy wins, he could be back in there for a world title. He could be back fighting for a world title. And who knows what Izzy will do with a microphone. Izzy will not leave you all wondering what's going to be next. He will call somebody out. Much as you think Chimaev's going to be taking on the winner of Sean versus DDP, as much as you think that, and that is true until Izzy grabs a hot mic and sticks a finger in his chest. I'm just saying, there's nobody that can change the landscape and change the way that you view the world around him. Nobody can do it like Izzy.
Additionally, Robert Whittaker shared his thoughts about this fight and feels that Imavov is a good fighter, but he doesn't have the skills and strength to beat a guy like Israel Adesanya. He thinks that the French fighter might give a tough time to the former champion, but in the end, it will be Israel Adesanya who will emerge victorious. Robert Whittaker said on the MM Arcade podcast, "I'd have to lean into Izzy being the favorite. Like, he's so good at what he does, but Imavov's a bit of a dog. He can go the distance. His striking is good. I can see him pushing the pace, pushing the pressure to try to make Adesanya make errors, much like how Dricus fought him. I can't say better stand-up because Dricus' stand-up is just a different type of stand-up, a different approach." Robert further explained the strategy and compared the styles of Dricus du Plessis and Nassourdine Imavov. Whittaker said that Imavov might have the skills to win, but he will still lean towards Israel Adesanya to take down Imavov. Robert Whittaker further added, "Is Imavov as tanky as Dricus? Because I think Dricus made like a really good blueprint on how to beat Adesanya, make him uncomfortable, and go at him. Make him stress, don't give him space to play. I think Imavov's got the skill set to do that, but I'd still lean on Izzy being the favorite. He can fight that counter style so well, and if you don't fall into his baits, into his traps, he'll pick you apart." Well, this is all we have from today's video. What do you feel about this matchup and who will win it? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content related to MMA. Press the bell icon to get instant notifications about our latest videos.